Welcome in, everybody, to the PHNX Suns Postgame show. I'm Lindsay. That's Gerald. That's Flex. That's Espo. We get this music again because the Suns dropped the ball again. They lost to the Clippers 138-111. And I definitely did not have fun in this one.
Yay, fourth
Did you guys
quarters.
have fun?
Not at all.
No. This wasn't fun. This was a bad basketball effort in the second half. Mm-hmm. You started to see the shift at the end of the second quarter. I thought until about the 5-minute mark of the second quarter, things were kind of in line, and then you started to see some things happen. You started to see the Clippers role players kind of put a stamp on the game, and then that fourth quarter wasn't good. There was opportunities in the fourth. You know, you get it down to 7 on the KD 3, and then you get a turnover. Mm-hmm. And then KD thought he got a shot that would have got 3 free throws to potentially get it to 4. They call it on the floor. Next thing's a turnover, and before you know it, it's 20. And so that's just how I went tonight. It's just not good basketball in the fourth quarter.
This team is... Man, it's hard to know where to start. What we wanted to see from this game, knowing full well the Clippers are a good team, knowing full well that the Suns could probably lose this game, is we wanted to see a competitive effort. Yeah. We wanted to see more reps for the big three and them start to move closer to figuring it out. And we didn't see that tonight. Yeah. We saw effort here and there through quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, it all fell to shit again. It was turnovers. It was stagnant offense. It was defense. It was lack of effort getting back in transition down the stretch. Like there's no excusing that. And we can talk about the fact that the big three still haven't gotten enough reps together, that they still haven't ironed out a rotation, that they still don't have an identity on either end of the floor. But at the end of the day, like, we can't keep making excuses if they're not going to move in a forward direction. Yeah. And tonight felt like another step backward. They had that 5-1 stretch. It looked like they were playing well against some quality competition over that stretch too. And then you lose to the Grizzlies without Ja, and you lose to the Clippers in embarrassing fashion. Like, it's tough. You can't make excuses for this, and they need to be better. That's just it. Period.
Yeah. This is not a good basketball team. Mm-hmm. I'm going to call it right now. We've danced around it. We've talked about them not having an identity or whatever, but this is not a good basketball team. Let's look at the title contenders they've played. Mm-hmm. The Lakers, they've lost to them. The Sixers, they lost to them. Oklahoma City, they've lost to them. You can say what you want about the Knicks, they lost to them. Denver lost to them. Sacramento lost to them. Brooklyn lost to them. Dallas
you saying
lost
title
to them.
Contenders?
Potential.
Just even playoff contenders.
Even playoff
okay.
contenders.
Just playoff
I mean,
contenders. We'll say that.
And Clippers. So you want to look at the ones that they beat. That okay. Minnesota, probably their best win of the year, and then. The
Miami game.
The
was
Miami,
good.
but
they're
Miami's a playoff contender. All right, so there's 2 in the season.
They're 5-9 against teams 500 and above.
Like I understand that in theory, this team has the horses at the top of the lineup, but I said it in pregame. The others will determine the season, and they are not good enough right now. At times, Grayson Allen has been spectacular, and I'm not going to put this at his feet. Mm-hmm. Nurk has had moments, but we don't know. Is Nurk hurt now? I mean, Gordon has shown flashes offensively and has cost them defensively at times. Like, this team has not been good in a lot of times defensively, offensively, they come and go. Right now, this is just not a good basketball team when it comes to especially quality competition.
Yeah. And it's not just the other guys, honestly. Like tonight, especially, Booker needed to be better. 20 points, 8 of 14 shooting. It's not bad, 5 assists. It feels like he has lost the thread on that balance between playmaker and scorer. And it feels like, especially against good teams, they are able to take him out and the Suns out of what they want to do in terms of throwing doubles at him, throwing junk defenses at him. Like KD played great, and they were able to get some buckets for KD as a product of all the attention Book was getting in some instances. But like Beal's got to be better too. 15 on 7 of 15 shooting. Like this is supposed to be 3 superstars, 3 all-NBA caliber players. Only one looked like that tonight. And you can't do that against the Clippers team that is bigger than you, that has more reps with their top guys than you, that has been on a tear since mid-November, second best record in the league over that stretch. Like, they're already at a disadvantage against this Clippers team because their big 3 is so much bigger than the Suns' big 3. Like, you need those guys to show up in a game like this, and only one of them did.
Can we lay a little bit at the feet of the coaches, though, too? Because KD
course,
goes 7-11 in the first half. Only gets 6 shots in the second. You can say, "Oh, defense." I'm sorry, you got to find ways to get him more shots than that. We were talking about before. Grayson Allen gets 3 total shots in this game. Like there's still fundamental problems in that way too, and I get it. The 7-game winning streak at one point, the 5-1 run that they went on. It hides some of the blemishes, but there's still some of these things are still there.
I think the biggest thing that I see that everybody here has expressed is they don't have an identity. That it's an identity crisis. For me, I'm still gonna stick to I do like the talent on this basketball team, but I don't know that they have the identity or they're not mixing right. Like Grayson Allen can't take 3 shots, dude. He can't have 3 shots. And I'm sorry, 8 for 14 is not bad, but the 14 bothers me. Like this is a game where Devin's got to get 20 shots. When you look at the big 3, what did they combine for?
65, I think.
65 points from the big 3. Okay. If you go into a basketball game and you tell me Devin Booker, Brad Beal, and Kevin Durant get you 65 points, we should be better than this. Like 65 points from a big 3 is not.
That's not enough.
Well,
that's not enough.
I don't think it's enough from this big
like
3
we used to get, like in that playoff run last year, we were needing and expecting 65 from Book and KD alone. Like those guys should be pushing closer to 75. Yeah,
every game.
3 guys, 25 a game. You need 75 should be the minimum.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
75. So 65 is not enough. 65 is not enough. But what I'm saying is they got 65 tonight.
Right.
And this is a game where Book only took 14 shots. KD took what, 17?
17.
What did Brad have? 12?
15.
It's not enough shots. If they take the amount of shots, you get those 75. I just they don't have an identity, man. They don't have an identity, and that's a lot. That's coaching. That's time on the court. Those are reps. These are all things they got to get corrected. So yeah, they got to figure it out. This was terrible.
I think too the biggest thing with the big 3 is we saw tonight in the fourth quarter as well. They resorted back to that ISO ball, which we've talked about so many freaking times this season. Even when it's not the big 3, even when it's just 2 of them out there, it's like how many times do we have to go over that it's not working? How many times do you have to try it and fail at it to realize it's not working?
Whose job is it to say that? How many
times are we going to bring the ball up? Like run the shot clock down to 15 seconds and then try and do something and then get doubled and then throw the ball away and turn it over.
Correct.
Like how many times do we have to play this game before
Whose job is that, Linz? Whose job is it to not have a team playing ISO ball?
I feel like it falls on the shoulder of all of them.
It's the coach.
Yes, but it's also, these are 3 superstars. You're going to tell me all 3 of them can't go to whoever it is that is calling the offense and be like, clearly not working. Let's try something else? You're going to tell me they don't have the autonomy to be able to do that in this organization?
You can go say it. It doesn't mean certain things change too. Like I'm sure it's a combination of all that. But one thing I know for sure that I'm not doing anymore is referring to this group as a big 3 because they have not shown at times that these guys warrant that. Bradley Beal has not proven in a Phoenix uniform that he deserves that kind of a designation right now. So I'm not going to call him that anymore. I'll say Booker, Beal, and KD, but I'm not referring to this as a big three till you earn that moniker.
You can call it whatever you want. They need to be better. Like they need to be better, and the offense has devolved. And I think part of it is because, and this is not to lay it on Kevin Durant's feet because he's the only player who played worth a damn tonight, but I do think there is a lot of deferring to KD, especially when he has it going, that results in a lot of that ISO ball. I think a lot of times they'll run an action on offense. It'll get to KD in one of his spots. The movement will stop and the Suns will be content to just let him go to work. And don't get me wrong, he's one of the greatest scorers ever, one of the greatest ISO players, mid-range players, whatever, but coming off the hamstring injury, playing 36 minutes last night, 35 tonight, like he's going to run out of gas in that fourth quarter more than likely. We saw that a couple of times, missing some makeable shots, and it just feels like that ball movement that they have for 3 quarters doesn't extend to the fourth quarter because it's just kind of like, all right, Kevin, go ahead and bail us out.
Well, and a lot of times I feel like they set him up for failure in those situations as well.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that for any of the guys in the fourth quarter. It's like, again, you let the shot clock run down to where it's like, okay, we got to do something. And then it's asking somebody to bail you out.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part about it too, is it's like, okay, if you were going to let KD cook, then set him up for success.
Mm-hmm.
Get him the ball where you know he likes the ball in a timely manner and let him do his thing.
Right.
Don't give it to him with 10 seconds left on the shot clock in a terrible position on the court and be like, please save us.
Yeah.
Like, who does that help?
I'll ask you again. You're right. I agree with you. Who does that fall on?
All of the above. Literally all of the above.
I mean, you know, there has to be a real conversation at this point. Players, coaches, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. Because if I'm coaching a basketball game and my guy is walking it up and I don't want him to walk it up, you know what I do? I call a fucking timeout and I say, yo, stop walking it up. But if that's what they're asking for, then that's a product of the whole system. So you watch Book do it, he'll walk it up. You watch KD do it, he'll walk it up. Brad picks it up a little bit more, but it's still like every time they get the ball, I'm worried about an 8-second violation. Every fucking time they get the inbounds, I'm looking at the clock to make sure they don't get an 8-second violation because they're casually going into an offense. And then it's exactly what Lindsay said. Okay, 8-9 seconds. High lob to KD, try to go one-on-one, bail us out. And yeah, so again, I'm going to keep pouncing. The players have responsibility, but we got to be better on the coaching staff too.
What was the pace last year with this team?
I mean, it was
slower. It wasn't high. Yeah.
What's the common denominator in this offense? Because you don't have the point guard that we all thought was slow. It seems like a system thing.
It was
I'm not staring at the playbook. I don't know what they're saying in practice, but on base level, it looks like a system thing. And that's problematic in and of itself. But also, to Lindsay's point, if it's not working, these guys can try to push the issue too. And another thing, I don't know, maybe they have, and it hasn't changed. But I can tell you one thing, 72-38. That's what they've been outscored in the last 2 fourth quarters combined, and that ain't gonna get it done at any stage of basketball. I don't care if you're walking it up, if you're running at 100 miles an hour. Doesn't matter if you get outscored like that, you're gonna lose games.
Well, they keep talking about wanting to push the pace, and we're just not seeing it at all. Like they've been talking about this since preseason, and we haven't seen it at all. And like to your point, Lindsay, they're not putting KD in advantageous positions where he can do what he does best. Like, yeah, he only got 6 shots in the second half, and that's a huge part of the issue. They're not getting the guy who carried them in the first half enough looks down the stretch. And last night, it was a case of him tiring out in the fourth quarter. This game, it was different, but I still think that when Booker has the ball, when Beal has the ball, when Durant has the ball, they get a switch, and then that's it. Everything stops.
Stops right there.
You can do that for stretches in the playoffs and tight games when you need a bucket one-on-one. But in the regular season, that ball movement we see through 3 quarters goes to hell.
Yeah.
And to clarify for the chat, I'm not putting this on KD. I was pretty explicit about that, but apparently listening goes out the window when your favorite team loses. My point is, like, they need to put Durant in easier scoring opportunities so that his life is not hell where he has to go 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 every time to score a bucket late in games. That's not a recipe for success, no matter how good you are in this league.
And you make a good point. You got to put KD in a better spot. You got to start putting Devin in better spots too.
Yep.
Like Devin, listen, Devin is not Devin Booker right now. I'm telling y'all, he's not Devin Booker right now. That's not the guy we've been watching for 8 years. Like, that's not the guy, right? And it's because he's bringing the ball up. He's trying to figure out an offense that I don't know what I'm starting to feel. Sometimes I watch him and I'm like, he's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on the fly. I don't think they have a system. It feels like it's just like a bunch of mumbo jumbo. So he's an assassin. Frank Vogel said it himself. Off the ball, Devin Booker, he's an assassin. On the ball right now, he looks like he's trying to figure it out. I got nothing. I resort to KD or I take a bad shot. And that's not Devin Booker. That's not the guy that's an all-NBA first-team guy. And damn it, I'm going to be very clear. I'm seeing people talking, just like you said, they're going about KD. They're saying Devin Booker's not a superstar. He was first-team all-NBA a couple years ago. He is a fucking superstar. Right now, it's not working. They got to do a better job of making life easier for KD, making life easier for Devin Booker, and then you can worry about Brad Beal. But until those two guys get fixed, man.
I just feel like you're right back where you were at Christmas, asking a lot of the same questions in terms of system and whatnot. And it feels like we keep pushing off certain things because they need to be healthy. But again, the only thing consistent is this team's been horribly inconsistent in a lot of ways. But the offense starts to look the same no matter who's out there. And I think there's a lot of the offense and the defense at times. You're seeing a lot of the same mistakes. So the questions have to be there. Why, regardless of who's on the floor, why does it continue to start looking the same way? Why does the ball stop? Why does it turn into iso ball? Why are you not pushing the pace? Why are defensive rotations not crisp? And start to systematically go, okay, is this roster construction? Is this system based? Is it all of the above? And what do you do to try to fix any of it? Because the clock to change your roster is ticking, and it's getting louder with every day because the trade deadline's right around the corner, and you have limited resources there too.
Yeah, it's a lot of little problems that are all building up into this one big problem, and I feel like for Book, I know a lot of people are completely out on the point Book experiment, and I get it. But at the same time, I don't think adding a true point guard is going to change the way the offense devolves into iso ball down the stretch. We've heard these guys speak, and even Vogel talk about, like, we feel like a KD iso or a Book iso or a Beal iso against a mismatch is a good shot for us. So that mentality alone has to change. It has to be, we have to keep running offense. We have to keep moving the ball. We have to go to our drive and kick game, which is dangerous when it's three of them and Grayson Allen out there at the same time. We don't see any of that. We see one guy going one-on-one like it's pickup ball with everyone else standing around and watching, and that's just not a recipe for success. And it's not a recipe for building reps either, or continuity, because we can talk all day about how little time they've had out there together, but if all they're doing is shit they could do in an empty gym by themselves on offense, that's not going to help either. And that's not even the biggest issue. Like, the defense is a way bigger issue. They gave up 138 points tonight. 111 should be enough to at least keep you in the game, not lose by 27. Like, the defense for me is the bigger problem.
259 in 2 games.
I totally get the defense is probably the bigger problem here, but can we just circle back to what you just said real quick about the players and the coaches talking about how they think that that's a really good shot for them, when it's like, sure, in theory, but in real life, when we go and we look at the games and it doesn't work out majority of the time against quality teams, at what point do we revisit this?
Well,
and maybe say, hey, like, we want it to be good. We think it should be good, but it's not working out in the way that we anticipated. So let's try something else. Where is the checks and balances of who's being like, hey, quick question, is this really working?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Gerald brings that up, so now I want to talk about that. Coaches went public and said that. They went public and said, you know what? Sometimes KD, Book, Brad Beal, one-on-one, ISO, that's not bad. I'm gonna be honest. When I first saw that, I didn't want to. I want to speak on it now. When I first saw it, I thought it was lazy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was lazy. That's a lazy thing. That's like, okay, yeah, KD 1-on-1 is a great shot, so we're gonna live with it. Book 1-on-1, great shot, ISO, we're gonna live with it. Nah, bro. Like, no, that's not. If that's your offense, I mean, are you almost admitting that that's what you're looking for?
No, but look,
I'm gonna ask you, G, because you there every night. Is that
No.
almost admitting that's what you're looking for?
I don't think so. I think because this was a few weeks ago when this question was asked about.
I remember.
It was in a certain situation where it devolved into ISO, and he said, "No, like a KD ISO is one of the best plays that we can run." I think it was a case of Vogel sticking up for Durant because the question felt like not an attack on Durant, but kind of asking like, yo, you think he went to Durant too much ISO? Do you think he wore him down? Because it was one of those games where he played a lot of minutes. And KD is an ISO guy, but...
And in moments, turning to him for that, I get. Exactly. But every single time, every single night,
that's
doesn't make sense.
That's like saying, hey, you know what? A cupcake's good, but if it's my entire diet... I'm going to die a quick death. Right?
Yeah.
But KD ISO, Book ISO, Beal ISO in certain situations is a good play. Mm-hmm. But when you're relying on it too much, it will kill you eventually.
And it also doesn't set your players up for success either. Mm-hmm. Because then when shit goes south, now people are mad at KD or Book or Beal or whomever. And it's like, okay, but is it their fault or are you setting up your players for failure here?
Well, it's not basketball. Like ISO, that's something you do every now and then when you have an opportunity. That's not something that you do predominantly just run ISO ball. And that's what we're seeing. And again, that's part of the offense. I mean, again, I'm going to keep pouncing on it. Grayson Allen took 3 shots. Mm-hmm. Like, at what point do you call a timeout or do you go to the locker room and you're like, okay, we know we got KD, Book, and Beal, but we need another person. Like, somebody else got to come to the party. You can't take 3 shots.
How about you say, hey, Eric Gordon, take a few less of those, and hey, let's get it to Grayson on a night where he's not shooting well. But you bring up, and we've heard Frank Vogel talk about this, that we want to play with pace, but then they don't. Like, I don't, there's some disconnect between what is said and what they do.
He's dialed that back more recently.
Yeah, especially because we're talking about the turnovers, and it's been like this whole, yes, we want to play faster, but we also are very focused on taking care of the ball. And when we play faster, we get more lax when it comes to taking care of the ball.
That's crap, though, because we've seen it in the slow down half court that they get lax.
I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying what is being said. Mm-hmm. Like, you get an equal parts. Yes, we want to do this, but we also need to do this. So it's a balancing act.
Yeah, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth and their ass at the same time. Like, that's the problem here to me. You know, like
Nurk got hurt tonight, right? But what do you have? 8 shots?
Nurk had 8 shots. Yeah, 3 for 8.
I mean, if I came in, if we were doing pregame and I told you Nurk and Grayson combined going to have 11 shots tonight.
Yeah, I would have told you this is exactly what happened.
Sometimes you just got, I can't for the life of me understand that. And this is a guy who's been playing terrific basketball. Grayson's been really good. Like, he's been probably one of our best players over this 5 to 7 game stretch. Mm-hmm. And so for him to only get 3 shots tonight, that's a systematic problem. It's much more than the players. It's a whole thing. And to Gerald's point, we ain't even talk about the defense yet.
Yeah, before we talk about the defense, because we have a lot of problems, let me tell you about one thing that is not a problem, and that is our friends over at Somburros. Somburros is family-owned and operated and was voted Arizona's most loved Mexican restaurant. They also have party platters that can feed a crowd, small or really big, and margaritas to go, which is a win, I know, for a lot of people watching this show. So let Somburros cater your next meal, big or small. Order online or find one near you by visiting somburros.com.
Hey, do we still have the boat full of
we do.
Burritos? Because the Titanic is sinking. I'm going to need some damn food while we're swimming to safety.
There you go. So. Somburros has your back for all your needs, you guys.
I'm still doing
Also, our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union also have your back. They have been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. And I don't know about you, but $200 would definitely make my life better. And when you open a free checking account online, you're going to get $200 in bonuses. So get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. All right, let's talk about the defense.
What defense?
Where is
You're
it?
not wrong. I know.
Again, you hire a defensive-minded coach, and you're not you hire a defensive coach, and your pieces are all offensive pieces.
Yeah,
and then you expect there to be defense, and you get exactly what we're seeing. I do not understand the thinking in it. I feel like they had their mindset on one guy, and I think he was on the other sideline tonight. When that didn't happen, you wound up with the group of candidates that were left over, and I still think they were leaning Kevin Young, but decided Frank Vogel because of championship experience is what it feels like. And you got the worst of both worlds in the end, because the defense isn't responding to what Frank's system is. The offense is hit or miss, and it feels like it's not system predicated, it's superstar predicated. And everybody goes to the net rating. Well, they're middle of the pack net rating in things. So you know what that tells me? It's a mid team. You've got top tier talent, and you've got a mid team right now because they can't get either side of the ball to peak efficiency. If the offense were sitting at third in efficiency and you have the 16th net rated defense, maybe you hide some of those blemishes more. But the fact is, neither of them are performing to a high enough level right now.
You're lacking a true rim protector. Nurkic has done what he can, but he's going to have his flaws at the end of the day. You are lacking a big three. Like, I think Durant defended well for the most part tonight, but like Booker, we've talked about Booker getting better over the last few years defensively. This season has been a step back for him, a sizable one in that regard. And maybe it's because of the load that he's carrying offensively, running the point.
I think that's a big portion of it.
It does get tiring.
That's what it was at the beginning of his career.
But they have a lot of guys on this roster that are either defense-only players or offense-only players. You can't have Josh Okogie and Jordan Goodwin out there on the floor together because neither one of them can shoot. And honestly, sometimes you can't have one of them on the court together, but they're good defenders. KBD, good defender, doesn't give you anything offensively. Yuta gives you offense, doesn't give you anything defensively. Nas is like the closest thing that you have to a two-way player, which is why he was getting minutes. And he's not particularly good on either end of the court. So you don't have the pieces to go with a defensive-minded coach, and the offensive-minded pieces that you have to go with the rest of your offensive-geared roster can't play defense. So you're really struggling to bridge that gap, and that's why the Suns have been, now they're going to dip significantly below. They were middle of the pack defensive rating-wise. Now they're probably going to be bottom third, and I don't know what the fix is for it.
I feel like you hired the guys from Please Don't Destroy to do Shakespeare in the Park. What do you expect if you bring in pieces that have proven in the past that they can't do what you're asking them to do? Why do you expect it to be different now? I love Devin Booker, but assuming that he's going to become otherworld defense without defensive help and a team defensive system isn't fair to anybody. Same with Bradley Beal. Yusuf Nurkic wasn't known as a defensive guy. So now you got a starting lineup that you're expecting to also be good at defense when they've never been those guys. Why do we expect some magic change out of this? But like you say, if it quacks like a duck, and it walks like a duck. Don't tell me it's a fucking dog when it pees on my leg. It's a duck. Like, yeah. I don't.
But where are we laying the blame though? Because we talked ourselves into this being if this is just an average or slightly above average defense. Like who are you blaming right now?
Twofold. I blame Frank Vogel for not raising the defensive floor with this group, and I blame James Jones for not giving him the ingredients to actually cook the damn meal in the first place. There's two places where you can place that blame, and I could say, yeah, the players could put forth a little bit more effort, but in the end, we knew what most of these guys were. So I'm not gonna sit here and say, hey, you know what? Yuta Watanabe should be otherworld defense right now, or KBD should be one of the best 3-point shooters in the league. Because when you looked at their career averages, you knew that wasn't necessarily the case.
But I could have sworn I remember people on this panel too saying Yuta's going to surprise people defensively. He's going to be better.
Yeah, and
saying KBD, he shot the ball well last year. If he can do it again, we talk ourselves into these things as fans sometimes. That doesn't mean that it's our fault, obviously. But
damn me for signing those guys.
It's hard to be saying if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck when the whole time we were calling it a goose leading up to this point. I can't do that.
So I'm gonna go back to something I said yesterday, and I use a reference with my own children. If I tell my son and my daughter, your only job is to go to school, get good grades, get a good GPA, get into a good college, right? And then midway, I say, oh, you know what? Change your plans. You got to go to school, get good grades, get a full-time job, help pay the bills, and run the house, right? That changes. Does it not change it?
Yeah.
Changes the dynamic of that kid. That kid academically is not going to focus the way he would have if he didn't have all this on his plate. A lot of these guys we brought in are good grades, go to school, good grades people. And what I mean by that is they were here to do one thing, maybe two. And early in the season, we made them do 4, 5, 6 things because of the injuries. I feel like now they haven't recovered from that. They played their. We asked them to do so much that they've actually lost their damn confidence. Yuta looks like a guy that's never played basketball before. He gets on the court and he's completely lost. He was here to be a shooter. Well, you had to do more with the injuries. Same thing with Goodwin. Same thing with KBD. And so I feel like these guys have completely lost their confidence. And now you're trying to wheel them back and say, okay, forget everything we said 30 games ago. Now just make jump shots.
But that's the job.
That is the job, but it's a weird dynamic, man. I do feel these guys are good basketball players. They're good at certain things. I think this is a shit show right now with what we've been doing. They've been put in bad spots. They've lost minutes. They've lost rhythm. Now you're trying to get them to come back in and get that shit right away, and it just doesn't work like that. So it's a combination of like a snowball effect to me. It's a snowball effect. They're in a bad rut. By the way, that's a good damn Clipper team. And even the best of Suns teams, the 64-win Suns teams, went on the road and got their ass kicked by 20 a couple times. So again, now I'm not going to try to put lipstick on a pig, but I'm not going to sit here and act like, we're the first team in basketball to lose by 20 to a good basketball team on the road.
But again, they've struggled against quality competition. If guys don't have confidence, whose job is it to try to up that confidence? It's the coach putting them in situation. There's a multitude of issues. There is not a magic wand that fixes everything. It's one move, but you got to start looking at what are some of those smaller things you can do to try to turn things around. I mean, and it's, again, we were here at Christmas. You got to take the long, hard look and decide what those are. I mean, honestly, if they lose on Thursday to the Lakers, I hope Frank kept his house in LA because he may not be coming back to Phoenix on the plane.
I don't know about that, but
I mean, how do you want these guys to perform? Like some of these role players. I mean, just some of these guys, they're just not playing enough. They're not playing enough. And
but when they didn't do it.
But when KDB came in tonight, it's like, what were we all thinking?
Well, I saw, hey, it's Mr. Negative 103 in fourth quarters. That was the first thing I said.
And I said, well, we haven't gotten much from Drew Eubank so far, so why not try it?
I mean, when I saw him come in.
So I feel like a lot of it is right now, it feels like, okay, well, let's try something else.
I'll tell you exactly what I said. It's lightning in a bottle or this game's fucking over. And I mean, it was over. And I'm not going to sit here and blame K. I'm like, the guys, he don't know when he's going to play and when he's not going to play. So
yeah, he played 2 minutes.
I'm not blaming KBD for this.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying
But I think going back to your point of like, all the guys not in the big three aren't doing enough because what did you say? At one point in time tonight, they were all shooting under 32%?
Yeah, up to 42 by the end of the game.
But it's like, at the end of the day, 90% of them are on minimum contracts.
I get that.
There's only so much expectation you can ask for these guys. When you're tying all of your money to the big three, you should be able to ask more from them than a vet minimum guy at the end of your bench who gets 3 minutes of action every other game.
I agree, but I think I can expect more from Grayson Allen. I can expect more from Eric Gordon based on his track record. They both struggled tonight, and I've said this before. If those two guys struggle, you're gonna have a tough time winning any of these games, because we know the rest of those guys aren't guys that you can rely on to score a lot. So, and then Nurk getting hurt, obviously they were in a hole already, or whatever happened. Him leaving the game had an impact as well, because you have no depth at center. So then you had to go with KD against Zubac in the post. You had 4 other guards out there. It was, again, some fundamental flaws. I get it. If you don't think James Jones made the choices, he's still a potential fall guy because he's got the title. Like that. You can't fire a guy that isn't on your officially part of your organization if he's making the choices, but you can look at the guy with the title. Like there's all sorts of flaws. The roster construction turned out to be, or right now feels like it's very much what other people said. Injury prone, no depth. And I hate to say it feels like it right now, but I don't know.
I get it, but your big three has to be outside of Durant. Your other two in the big three have to be better.
Yes, 100%.
Like I don't even. I like watching this game. My takeaway wasn't like, man, the other guys aren't playing well enough. It's Booker and Beal aren't doing enough. They're not matching the Clippers' big three blow for blow. Like Booker, 5 assists, 6 turnovers tonight, 4 fouls, especially that really bad one at the end of the third quarter when they had cut it to single digits. Fouls Paul George, gives up a free throw. Luckily, only makes 1 of 2. But and especially you pair that with the defensive effort. Like Book has to be better. He's been on a rough stretch. He's had a couple of 35-point games sprinkled in here or there where it's like, okay, there's Book again. But bringing it consistently, he hasn't done that in a couple of weeks now. And he's got to be better. Beal, I know he's been working his way back, but he's had a couple of games where he's looked really good. And then games like tonight where 15 on 15 shots. Those two have to be better first and foremost, because this is a top-heavy roster. We knew that going into the season. We knew that Grayson was kind of the only guy that Grayson and Eric were the only guys that we could really rely on for bench scoring. And so far, that's kind of been the case. If you're top-heavy, you need your 3 stars to play like stars. Tonight we only got 1.
How do you feel about the Clippers' 3 stars tonight?
They were fine. They did what they needed to do. And they got help.
Them.
Yeah, we outscored them, but we took a lot more shots. They played better than no one's gonna watch that game and be like, the Suns' big 3 played better than the Clippers' big 3.
Why?
Because they distributed their shots, because they have that chemistry.
They're role guys,
and
they have flow.
But who helps make those guys better?
Right.
The big 3.
Well,
they have
it's
flow.
not one side of the floor though either.
Right. So you just nailed it. They got flow.
Right.
So is that a big 3 thing?
Yeah, that starts with your big 3.
Makes the
That
flow
starts with your
go?
2 point guards, Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. It starts with those 2. The offense has 0 flow. It devolves into ISO ball. And so they can put up decent shooting numbers, but 20 points for Book, that's not enough. 15 for Beal.
Right. Harden had 19.
Yeah, but Harden also had, how many assists did he have? 10. Distributing.
So I'm asking again. So Harden is distributing the ball to who? To role players. Terrence Mann.
Not just role players, but Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Suns 17 assists, Clippers 32 assists.
Right.
They have flow, they have chemistry, they have familiarity with each other, and their big 3 we needed our big 3 to drastically outplay their big 3. Their big 3 outplayed us on both ends of the floor, and their role players outplayed us.
I think
it's that simple.
I think that's a big part of it though too, because the Suns outscored them, but Kawhi Leonard, Paul George play very good defense. It's not a one side of the ball thing. It's both sides, and there's deficiencies on the defensive end too, which could be partially system, could be partially talent, whatever the case is. Gerald's right. The big 3 has to perform, and you're right, because even if the big 3 match them, the fact that the other guys shot so poorly. The difference here is their bench got 12 more shots than our bench got, and they made 16 more shots than the Suns bench. And part of that is because their big three set them up, and Booker, KD, and Beal didn't necessarily
I
do
agree
that
with
tonight.
that. I'm not arguing the flow of the game. I'm not arguing the Clippers' big three flow is better than ours. It completely is. But again, that goes back to the whole systematic issues we're talking about with the coaches and the offense and all that. Like, I have a hard time. Like, I think the big three for us needed to shoot more tonight. I think they need to shoot more. If all three of them took 20 shots, I can't get down on the big three when they took the amount of shots that they took. Like, what did they shoot as a big three? Them dudes probably shot like 65% as a big three.
I can tell you here in just
like the team shot over 52% as a team. I mean, I don't know how much more they can do. They need somebody else to come to the party.
They shot 51%. They were 25 of 49, but if you take Kevin Durant out, it's 47%, 15 to 32. So
the big three shot 50% and put up 65 points. And I know I'm not just going to look at points and forget defense and the rest of basketball. I get it. But I'm just saying tonight felt like it was the big three against the Clippers.
Well, we're not
That's
we're
what
not
it felt
talking about. I mean, we're not talking about a 10-point loss. This was a 27-point loss. It was a systematic failure across the board. So, like, it's not as simple as the bench. It's not as simple as anyone. This team is lost.
All of it is bad right now.
Yeah, all of the above. Like,
except for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was the one good thing tonight.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair because offensively he was great. He had those chase down blocks. Like, he was putting
except for
forth
when
the
he
effort.
gave the ball to Kawhi, just handed it over.
At that point, it was already over.
No, it wasn't.
No,
It was a 7-point game with about 10 minutes to play, and he had that turnover. And yeah, it swung pretty bad from there. And I'm not blaming KD. KD was terrific.
No.
But it didn't matter if it was KD, Booker, or Beal, or whoever the hell did it. That was a really bad turnover in that spot when you try back into the basketball game. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else you can say about 138, 111. I mean, it is what it is.
We can look at some numbers, but before we look at those, how are your guys' numbers looking from your bets tonight?
Oh boy!
Let me just say it. Screw Saul on this one. All right.
Man.
Saul's
I
the only
needed
one
missed,
right?
Mm-hmm.
One missed free throw by Saban Lee. I win. Saul loses. But no, Saban, you gotta make both free. You couldn't give me one little thing to enjoy about this game.
I knew you lost that bet as soon as Saban checked in.
You know, I was so upset about mine too because, so in case you missed it in the pregame show, the bet I took tonight was the race to 5 points, and I had the Suns getting to 5 points before the Clippers because Nurk did his job.
He won the tip.
Mm-hmm. Katie missed his shot. Okay, fine. We'll try this one more time. Then who was it? Book?
I think so.
It was Book.
Yeah.
Missed his shot. Okay, fine. Let's try it one more time because I think the Clippers missed a shot. So it was 4-0, right?
It was 4-0 Clippers, yeah.
We made, I don't even.
They tied it at 4. They tied it at 4.
They tied at 4-4.
Yep.
Nurk made the first field goal for the Suns.
Yep.
Old reliable. He's the only one that I can rely on for anything in my bets these days. It's not working out in my favor.
Hey,
Anyway,
Lindsay.
I digress.
Boo fucking who? Because
Yeah,
yesterday, if Grayson hit that wide open 3, I had a plus 1150. Guess what? Life sucks sometimes. All right.
That play was ran specifically for him.
It was.
Too.
They
it was
knew.
wide open.
It was obvious they were going to do that.
Blessings.
That's tough.
If you guys want to get in on the action and hopefully do better than most of us here, sign up for BetMGM using the bonus code PHNX. Using that bonus code will get you a $1,500 first bet offer. All you have to do is place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app of at least $10. And if that bet loses, your bonus bets will be available once your initial wager is settled. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
Suck it, Ontario.
Listen, I know you guys are a little bit down bad on the Suns right now, and by you guys I mean everybody, all of the above.
Yep.
And plus we're going on a little bit of a road trip here, so you might not want to pick up tickets from Game Time to go see the Suns. But the best part about Game Time is you can also get tickets to other sporting events or to concerts that you would like to see as well, and you get all the same perks from getting your tickets from Game Time for any ticketed event that you want to go to. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason, because it is the best place for last minute ticket deals and getting tickets without the stress. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, let's take a look at the numbers presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes.
What's in the box?
Yeah, 138, 111. This wasn't pretty. Listen, you could look at the field goal percentage. 49% for the Suns to 62% for the Clippers. The problem I got is on the glass, 44-25, and you're not going to get many rebounds if the Clippers going to shoot damn near 65%. So that explains a lot. And then, like Gerald said, 32 assists. Their big three was moving the ball, running their offense. They were making us pay. Our guys didn't quite do that. 17 assists. And then, again, 3-point. I mean, I like that number to go up. Last game was 28. Today was 30. 10 for 30. The Clippers shoot 15 for 29 on 52%. I mean, yeah, that's just bad numbers. And that is the recipe for a 25-point L.
Yeah.
No question about it.
And honestly, I thought in the first half, their defense wasn't that terrible. I thought, obviously, you don't want to give up 71 points and a half on the shooting that they gave up. But the Clippers hit a lot of tough shots. In the second half, it felt like the Clippers' shot-making ability, demoralized the Suns. And they just kind of withered away on that end. Like, there were plays in the fourth quarter, especially, where they weren't running back in transition defense. There was that one play where KD contested the shot at the rim, the fast break layup. Nobody was around to clean it up, and the Clippers got an easy putback. And I think their third Clippers player ran up the court before you saw anyone else from the Suns. Those are plays that you just can't have when you're a team that is hovering around 500 and trying to put together momentum to be the contender you thought you were going to be heading into this season. It's just got to be better on those fronts. The defense has to be better. And honestly, optimistically, we can look at this and say the Clippers were 0-5 in their first 5 games with James Harden. They needed time to iron things out. But this team has to actually start progressing in some sort of way. The Clippers were losing games. Everyone was making fun of them and saying oh, why did they trade for Harden? It's over for them. And they kept progressing through it because they had their guys available. It's going to take that for the Suns, and it's going to take the coaching staff putting all of these guys in the right spots. And so far, we haven't seen either one of those things, which is my biggest concern.
And you dug yourself a hole. You're backed up basically a 500 basketball team.
Yep.
Well, and speaking of digging holes, they find themselves in holes oftentimes throughout these games, but they don't take advantage of those small moments of opportunity where they can get back into it. We saw that midway through the third quarter in tonight's game. The Clippers stopped making shots. The Suns were able to get a couple of stops, but they couldn't capitalize and make buckets themselves, so it didn't matter. And it was those opportunities are rare when you're playing really good teams, and if you're not able to capitalize on it and close that gap, well, then what are we doing here?
You know, it's another thing about this team as currently constructed with what they're going through. And I said it before the game and pregame. The problem in this game was anytime the Clippers got above double digits, it was going to be a problem. They're not a good team if this team as constructed can't play from behind. They just can't. They have to stay close or they have to have a lead. Because if you go behind to a good Clipper team plus 10, it feels like 20. When a Clipper team, they got that much firepower, they're running on all cylinders. And when the Suns go down 10, 12, 13, it seems like they go to ISO ball. They go to, let's get the ball to the big guys and see if they can bail us out of this. And tonight was a perfect storm. They didn't have any help from anywhere else. So there's a point of that game where you're like, well, I kind of agree. What else are you going to do, right? There's no one else contributing. You go to ISO ball, you miss a couple shots, you're down 20 just like that.
All right, guys. You have something?
No, I'm like
He's
the
at a
Suns.
loss.
I'm like the Suns in the fourth quarter. I don't have much, but I don't feel good about it either.
I don't blame you, but we do have a bunch of super chats. Thank you guys all for sending them in to us that we will read here and discuss. All right, Go To Tech Review sent us one. They said, "Well, now what? Something needs to change. ... Sad."
I don't know. Here's the thing is like externally, they have very limited trade resources. They can make moves on the fringes to shore up the rotation, sure. But you're not going to get probably a starting caliber point guard on the buyout market or the trade market. You're not going to get a better, rim protecting center on the trade market. And firing your coach midseason, okay, you do that. Now what? Now who's stepping in to lead you to a championship midseason? Because that shit is exceedingly rare in NBA history. So this is going to come down to internally. This is going to come down to the coaches, the players looking themselves in the eyes and saying, we need to do better. We need to be better. We need to, stay healthy so we can actually build something and start progressing.
I get, but
it's not coming externally.
But
there's no savior coming
why
externally.
Why hasn't it happened internally already? Like, how many times? And I'm not saying.
No, I know.
But at what point do we just go, it's not happening internally either? Because if these guys keep getting to these points and this aha moment doesn't happen, I don't know that it's ever going to happen where something magically clicks in that way. The only reason I would say if you made some kind of change on a coaching staff, maybe not the head guy, whatever it is that a wake-up call? Is it some kind of refresh perspective? I don't know, but it feels like it's a break glass in case of emergency, and I feel like you're going to have to sound that alarm at some point, whether it's beginning of February and we'll make whatever minor move we can make to improve the roster as best we can, but something has to give.
I get it, but I'm just saying realistically, even with an owner that we know is aggressive and wants to win at all costs, I don't know if we're at that point yet, 36 games into the season, where realistically Vogel is in danger of being fired, especially when the big three are just playing in their sixth game together. He has that excuse in his back pocket. And I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I know Ishbia's thinking or anything like that. I'm just saying, looking at it objectively, that is what I think will be the basis. Okay, if by a couple months the big three has had more reps and it's still like this, okay, then maybe we make a change. I don't know if we're not even halfway through the season yet. I don't know if you fire a coach that you just signed to a 5-year contract that soon.
I'm not saying it's necessarily him either.
Do you just what you just said? Do you agree that that's a good excuse for Frank? I'm a general.
I think it's a fair one. I don't like commenting on people how I think they should or shouldn't lose their jobs, but
I'm not talking about
I'm not talking about him losing his job. I think this team should absolutely be better than what they are, and a fair amount of that falls at Vogel's feet. I also think it's also true that this team that he has had in front of him is not the team that we thought we were going to have.
Because I do agree with that. 6 games.
They're a top-heavy team, and they've got 6 games with their top-heavy guys.
Right.
That's not enough.
I actually agree with that.
I've got the solution. Take the Xboxes and PS5s away. And it fixes everything.
I'm not going down that rabbit hole. Don sent us a super chat. Thank you, Don. They said, I don't know how quote, I don't know how anyone will guard us, end quote. Well, they know y'all can't guard anyone either, so they'll just outscore y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like.
I mean, if we're going to have a shootout, we got to shoot a little bit better than that.
That's what it looks like.
Them's the rules.
Do you think guys that played Call of Duty all the time would be good at shootouts?
Sorry, that
much is... I'm
kidding.
Get out of that well.
That,
Keep going back to
Psycho Blue sent us one. Thank you, Psycho Blue. They said, well, at least the Suns found their identity. Fourth quarter meltdown. Someone about to be cast in the basketball abyss.
He's not wrong. If you had to pinpoint their identity,
that's what it is.
That's what it is right now.
Okay. Go To Tech Review sent us one. Thank you. They said, signs point to coaching at this point. No progress.
Like Gerald just said, 6 games with the big three. It's really hard to blame a guy who was promised so much and has had so little of it. So I don't know if I want to make an excuse for him, but I think it's a fair assessment for him to say, hey, this isn't what I was promised. Let's see another 20 games. If we're still having this talk in another 15, 20 games, I think that's a whole different thing.
The weird thing is, I feel like all of it's
correct.
all that's the weird thing. Like,
Yeah.
I understand that excuse, and I think it's valid. I also understand your defense has been hot trash, which is valid, and I also understand the pieces aren't correct for your defense, which is valid. That's what makes this whole damn thing so confounding, because everywhere you turn, you go, yeah, this is all wrong.
It's all bad. You could ask like 100 different Suns fans what's wrong, the biggest problem with this team, what you need to fix a team, and you'd get probably 20 different answers.
I feel like I'm Donald Glover in Community, and I'm walking in with the pizza boxes, and everywhere I look, something's on fire, all right?
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Wally sent us one. Thank you, Wally. They said, letting a bum like Zubac get 19 is super worrying. Whatever happened to the killer mentality Book used to play with? Give Grayson more than 3 shots, all caps.
I don't think Zubac is a bum.
No, Zubac is better than people.
He's a decent
understand.
basketball player.
Nurk has better stats than Zubac by a small margin.
Yeah, but I would say defensively, Zubac is a much better player. So
They kind of equal each other out.
I
don't think I would call him a bum.
No, he's not a bum at all. And I think Zubac,
he's not a bum.
He was somebody that I kind of liked if the Clippers were going to make moves this summer, but it is what it is.
He also for part of that game was going up against KD and 4 guys that were 6'7" and below when Nurk went out too. So you gotta there's context to some of that too. Like
they actually had KBD and Okogie playing center at one point.
Positionless basketball, baby.
So
it's the future.
Yeah, I mean,
they did generate a lot of threes in that look. By the way,
true.
I know we're going to hammer that. They were trying to trade threes for twos because they were down, but didn't make them.
Your Fave 5 head, thank you for your super chat, said, quote, no more, or wait till they gel, or they'll be fine. This squad is what they are, top heavy with no depth and a play-in exit.
Damn, play an exit.
That's optimistic play. No, I'm just kidding.
That hurts my heart.
Half the internet's like, this team's not going to make the playoffs. They're going to be atrocious. Don't we still have our first round pick? At least you get a lottery pick, right? Or
Listen,
is it a pick
if we don't make the playoffs,
we get there. We got our pick now.
buddy, we're going to be in trouble.
Look, there's always a bright side, right?
Go to Tech Review sent us another one. Thank you again. And they said, I miss having fun, ... sad face.
So do we.
Same.
Trust me.
Yes.
I'm tired of my mentions being in shambles with every tweet.
Yeah, you know what? I love staying up till midnight working a 15-hour day to talk about a team that doesn't win. It's great.
We feel you. Go to Tech
We do.
Reviews.
We 100% do. Atreya, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Said nothing, but they did send us a super chat.
Thank you,
Can
Atreya.
we check and see if there is anything else from them in the super chat after I read this next one? D Nice, thank you for yours. They said this team has 0 defensive principles. Do you guys think that's
They got principles. They just don't live by any of them. They're struggling to execute them big time.
I feel like they approach defense like Switzerland. They just wave that white flag sometimes. It has not been great.
I thought you were going to make a Swiss cheese joke.
Oh,
but that works.
no.
Atreya, we
more
didn't see
offensive.
an additional comment from you. Just drop one in the chat. You don't have to send another super chat, and we will read it. Okay. Ryan, thank you for your super chat. They said, Book's losing / lazy play, especially on D, is annoying.
I love how the city turns on the guy that is the star, the franchise player, the guy that stayed with you during the dark times. And the first time we've seen even the little bit of a hiccup, it's screw this guy, get him out of town. Like,
Okay,
I get it's not everybody.
Yeah,
but, you know.
I've been hard on the fan base this season. I was hard on them just a few days ago because the results for Booker's All-Star voting were trash. But I agree with that specific comment. Like the defense, just the defense part, that has been a problem and it needs to get better. He needs to be better on that end. And I know he's carrying a lot more of the burden offensively by running point. It does get more tiring, but he's got to be better on that end if they want to go places.
And to be fair, they all need to. On
Yes,
this team,
that is true.
Okay, Shioban sent us one. Thank you so much. They said, Espo is right. This is the team we have. Not a good team at all. Can't beat good teams. We need a Chris Paul defense, and it's playmaking in the fourth quarters. Beal, Booker are not shooters. Beal and Booker are shooters, not point guards.
Okay, the first half of that best super chat we've had.
You mean just the first three words?
Espo's right.
That's all you needed to hear?
That's all. I'm all in.
You turned Espo's whole night around.
Damn.
We've gotten a lot of CP3. We wish we still had CP3, but the reality is too, we saw his backslide too. So
yeah,
I
love
tough.
CP3, and like I've said many times, I think he needs to be in the Ring of Honor when all is said and done. But like, there's a reason they moved off from him. They saw, and we've seen in the playoff, every single playoff run, he struggled to stay healthy. So I don't want us to be prisoners of the moment and revisionist historians and forget all of that, because as much as they could use him to orchestrate offense and keep them organized in fourth quarters right now, like, we know what the ceiling was with this version of Chris Paul at this stage of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ran its course.
Right.
I mean, selective amnesia is a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, yeah.
Adrian sent us one. Thank you, Adrian. They said, so close to the panic button right now. ... Someone please talk me off the ledge.
Don't fucking push it. Relax. Tonight's a bad game. Don't push the panic button.
You could push it, but it's not connected to anything. So
It's never been connected to anything, you guys.
Nothing more hopeless than, yeah, go ahead and push it. Nothing's going to happen.
We're literally the Titanic.
We're trapped in here.
We only have half the boats. We don't have enough.
help! I've fallen and I can't get up. Yeah, you're gonna stay down there too.
Lord, save us.
Easy. Wait.
Oh, my God.
Chill out a little bit. Stay away from that button. It ain't time yet.
Oh, God.
Shioban sent us another one. Thank you again. They said, we need a true point guard and a PJ Tucker and defense. Well, listen, we might be able to get PJ Tucker in the buyout market. Fingers crossed. I wouldn't be opposed to getting a true point guard, and I definitely agree on the defense side of things.
Yeah, you know, and to be a millionaire, I need about $1 million right now. The list just keeps getting longer. You know what? If we got a true point guard, if we got a whole new defense, maybe 3 wing players that can hit threes. Like
PJ Tucker is realistic.
It's like
That's
the kid
an
that walks
actual
up and grabs me,
potential.
like, hey, Santa, I got some things I need from you, all right? The list just unrolls, you know? Like,
I mean, listen, we're allowed to voice what we want, okay? Got to put it out in the universe so it can come back around to us.
Oh, no.
Lucas sent us a super chat. Thank you, Lucas. They said they need to put down the controllers, stop playing Call of Duty, and practice more. Team was a championship contender last season, and now it's losers.
Look, guys, I can guarantee you the reason that they're losing is not because of Call of Duty. I'm sorry. It's
no,
just
but their
not.
game has been a Call of Duty.
Okay, but that was your heat check. I'm taking the.
It's after midnight. The jokes are allowed to get worse at that point. All right.
I mean, that was something.
We went from Mogwai to Grill.
Something.
Bro, you know it's real because Gerald's been cracking up at those jokes all night, and now when he's like, dog, you went.
Okay, I pulled up from half court and I missed. Okay.
You got greedy.
He's already there,
Oh,
Smith.
buddy.
You just said Call of Duty. Got you.
Johnny Boy sent us one. Thank you. They said traded our point guard because he was, quote, old, talking about a depreciated position. Now you finding out how hard it is to coach against Ty Lue without on-court coaching.
I mean, I didn't trade anybody, but I get.
Well, you know what they're
I know what
meaning.
they mean. Look, man, Chris Paul could have coached out there on the court all he wanted tonight. They were still losing by 20 plus.
Yeah.
Guarantee that.
Can Ty Lue give us 15 minutes on court at point guard? Like,
Damn.
Tyler's a great coach.
he's about the same age as Chris Paul, right?
Yeah, not far off.
Shioban sent us another one. Thank you so much. Again, they said, Everything you all are saying is playmaking. I'm guessing this one came in when we were talking about resorting to iso ball and not having enough ball movement and all the things.
It's part of it. But again, like I said, you get a true point guard in here with the nature of this big three. I don't really know how much changes in the fourth quarter. It has to be an internal thing where they look at the results and be like, we got to move the ball more down the stretch because this isn't working.
Yeah. All right. Luis sent us one and they said, yes, the Clippers are good, but so is the rest of the West. Suns are the worst fourth quarter team in the league. Beal is a $200 million role player.
No, we learned yesterday if you're a starter, you don't qualify as a role player. So
we're not doing that again. I wasn't even here for that shit, and I want no part of it.
It was an argument we had yesterday.
According to the internet, almost all the time, role players are not in starting five. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Right. I don't have a horse in this race. I'm just letting you know what the internet says.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The Anonymous Buddha sent us one. Thank you so much. They said they need to play together at full strength for a while to get better. In fact, you need Book, Beal, and KD to lose 4 or 5 games together. This season is done. Enjoy these great players and wait for some offseason changes. I'm chilling.
That was a roller coaster ride.
I was trying to stay with. I don't know what. Yeah,
I agree with your first part,
and then it got a little.
And I agree with the second part too. Honestly, we saw it from the Clippers. They started 0-5, and now they've had the second best record in the NBA since then. And then it just straight goes to it's over, bro.
Sell the team, it's over, and he's chilling.
I am 40. I don't know how many more of these I got in me, all right?
You're fine.
Man, you're still a young pup, man. You got
Not if they keep treating my heart like this, all right?
You got another 40 in you, dude.
Gracious. All right, real quick, before we continue on with Super Chats, I do want to remind you, Four Peaks did just release a brand new beer for the new year. It is the Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale. It's a collab between Four Peaks and Bad Birdie. It is super drinkable and the perfect companion at the tea box or in your fridge. You can visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. You can also check them out on social at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and we ask that you please drink responsibly. Also, a quick reminder that our PHNX putting party is happening on January 24th when the Suns face off against the Mavs. Join us for our first ever putting party at Putting World, presented by Michelob Ultra. It's going to be an absolute blast. We're going to watch the game. We will all be out there. Of course, participate in some putting. And every ticket includes unlimited beer and wine, plus free putting. You can get your tickets at gophnx.com. and get all the extra information there as well.
Yeah, and if things keep going like this, you're going to need something to distract you from Luka kicking your ass. So at least there'll be some putting available to you.
You can putter around together.
Hey now.
All right, back to Super Chats. Cut Bad sent us one. Thank you. They said, the right coach for this team is Mike D'Antoni. Team not responding to Frank. Quote, timeout Vogel.
Are you getting... Hold on a second. Are you getting a prime Steve Nash to come along with him in the DeLorean?
Yes.
Like, I'm sorry, but we saw Mike D'Antoni not succeed in other places after, like...
If 138 is a problem, Mike D'Antoni, you might be looking at 150.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A 70-year-old Mike D'Antoni ain't coming in here and fixing all your problems, all right?
Nope.
Why is it? And I'm one of them. But why is this city so obsessed with the guys from the past, as if they won it all and they're gonna come in?
Why are you doing that, Espo? You're one of them. Tell us, Espo. Answer your own question.
It does blow my mind, though, man.
Literally,
because
it's
like you.
No, it blows my mind because like every time someone leaves. It's like bring them back because it was so good. But while they were here, you wanted them gone.
You know what? Who fixes this? My old friend Frank Kaminsky. Bring him back. Bring Jock back. Give me your... I'm not going that far.
The homie? Give me Dario Saric back.
I love Dario.
I love Dario.
But yes, I'm one of those
Bismack,
people.
come on down.
Hey,
I would
this-
love Bismack.
I would
but
too.
This team hasn't won a championship in 55 years, but let's bring them all back. Why not?
All right, James sent us a super chat. Thank you, James. It said, it's Fitz time, ... Or are there any valuable coaches out there? Need a point guard and power forward as well. Go Suns. I feel like if we did the coaching thing, it would have to be Fizz until next year, right?
I have
I
no
mean,
idea. No clue.
He's on the staff.
You're not going to fire a coach and then bring in a whole new one immediately. There has to be an interim at some point.
I would
You're
assume
gonna bring in
so.
half
Yeah,
a new one.
you
I would
would
assume so, but Ishbia doesn't play by
Yeah.
Facts.
typical
HB is going to be like,
rules.
I'll coach this team till next year. Don't you worry,
bringing
guys.
in Tom Izzo.
Hold on, he's not pulling a Jerry Colangelo. He won't be coaching this team.
Oh my God.
Izzo would be hilarious though.
I mean,
Just yanks him out of March Madness.
you would think it'd be somebody on the staff
Yeah.
because you'd have. I mean, like Gerald said, you bring a new coach in from off the streets.
Mhm.
I mean, what are we going back to training camp in the middle of the season with 40
Mhm.
games left?
It's
Like
tough.
that's
Well,
tough. You can't. But here's the thing.
We feel like there's no system, so I mean,
No, but you know what though? Like you said, you keep saying Terry Porter, right?
be clear.
Hold
I'm
on.
not asking for Terry Porter to be coaching.
No. But you brought up the year
Yes.
where we had Terry Porter.
Yes.
And he was a defensive guy with an offensive team. It didn't work. What did they do?
They gave the keys over to Alvin Gentry.
Who was on the staff?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
already on. He was,
So I mean, a different voice sometimes does the ticket. I mean, does the job. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Maybe they tuned out Frank. I'm not saying fire Frank, but I'm saying sometimes just a different voice can change some things. So is it Fizz? Is it Kevin Young? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're still too soon for that point.
Yeah.
But-
All right. Next super chat we've got comes from my Kafka. Thank you so much. They said, if we're 25-25, then we can hit the panic button. Until we've played 5 games, I'm not sweating it.
I'm assuming that meant 50.
Yeah, I was about to say.
What did it? Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we're not even halfway through the season. Big Three's played 6 together. As much as I'm not saying don't panic, I am saying like shit needs to get better. It also still has time to get better.
Yeah.
If that makes
That
sense.
Celtic team that went to the finals was what? 21-21
Yeah,
at one point?
I think so. Yeah.
So
yeah, but
what? Go ahead.
What?
You can't do that.
yeah, but they were going through. I mean, they had all that coaching turmoil. Wasn't that
No.
one, or was that
No, people were ready to give
no.
up on Ime
people were
Udoka.
giving up
So
on
was that-
Udoka.
that was
then
the
they
season
turned it around.
before?
They
that-
went-
that
It was the
he
season
got- okay.
before the turmoil. Yeah.
And I remember vividly a lot of talk about trading Brown and Tatum. They don't work. They're not
I mean,
good
they weren't
together.
wrong about Ime Udoka, but that wasn't for the reasons they were saying, I guess. But
And
yeah,
it took Marcus Smart going in the locker room and smacking some people around.
okay. So
and-
who's the Marcus Smart?
I don't know.
We don't
We
have one.
have one.
I don't think we have one.
Maybe we should just go get.
I mean, I'm
actually get
available
Marcus
if
Smart.
you guys need
I know. I
a
don't think
good
they.
5
Low-key,
minutes.
Maybe Marcus Smart is available.
No, I don't think
you getting your ass kicked is
That's,
Maybe it'll be a galvanizing moment. The guy over
in
it.
on you.
I'm willing to find out.
Same.
That's how much I'm here for. I will go get my ass kicked if it will save this team.
Do it. Let's try
Let's
it. Why
go.
not? It's worth a shot.
Instead of asking who Marcus Smart is, just go get Marcus
Yeah,
Smart.
exactly.
I mean, yeah.
El Sol sent us one. Thank you. They said defense is their only problem. It's definitely a big one.
I wish that were true.
I don't know.
It's a
about
big
that.
problem for sure.
It's a lot of stuff.
All right, Go To Tech Review sent us another one. Thank you for all of your super chat love tonight. They said Vogel has done 0 to instill any trust at this point.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say, guys.
Hell yeah!
I don't. He's had
Come on.
he's had his guys for 6 games.
Mhm.
I mean, it's really hard to just say that's who he is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's fair. Julius sent us another one. Thank you, Julius. They said offense will be fine. Coach and defense are lost.
Yeah, I do think the offense will be fine. The defense is my biggest concern right now.
Mhm.
Lucas sent us another one as well. Thank you again, Lucas. They said We need to find a way to trade for Markkanen quickly while the sky is falling in Phoenix. This team just keeps proving why I'm paying for Yotes tickets over Suns.
We ain't got no picks to get marketing, so that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Also, the Coyotes are, well, they were at least. I know the last couple of games they've dropped a couple, but Coyotes are fun right now.
Yeah,
It's
they
exciting
are.
for them.
I welcome you spending your money wherever you want in Phoenix sports, as long as you continue to spend your money in our super chats. I appreciate you, Lucas. I'll go into the Coyotes locker room and get my ass kicked too if it helps.
There
How
you
about
go. Shioban sent us another one. Also, shout out to you for sending so many great super chats today. We appreciate you. They said, the difference between this season and last, Chris Paul.
Not the only one, but yeah.
I mean, he did make it.
I do not like this revisionist hit. Landry Shamet as well is no longer here.
Stop.
Let's not forget the man. And DeAndre Ayton, all right? They lost a guy they played Call of Duty with. I mean, come on.
Oh, my goodness. Can we scroll down real quick, Eric? I think Shioban sent us another one. Yeah, here we go. There was another one, and they said, we can't get CP3 back. I get it. It's playmaking. Book is not a point guard. They're going to have to trade for a point guard. Listen, there's some truth to that. I mean, I prefer Devin Booker to be playing his natural position
at the 2 guard, but I don't know what point guard you're going to bring in. Like Gerald was saying, I don't know if you're going to be able to bring in a point guard that's actually going to be better than Point Book. Or is going to actually be good enough to put Book in the spots where he needs to be at the 2.
I think that's the key. You don't need him to put up, if you were to go that route and try to find a playmaker, you don't need that person to put up the numbers that Devin Booker is offensively. What you need them to do is be able to put Devin Booker back in his natural position, because I don't think it's fair to say Devin Booker can't play point guard.
Right.
Devin Booker can play point guard.
Yeah.
But what it does is it means you don't have Devin Booker, the lethal shooting guard, because he's now focused on being your point guard, and you can't have it both ways. I think is what we're learning here is he can't be, as Frank Vogel called him, the assassin, if he's also the distributor and the guy that has to initiate. So I think that's a tough part of it here.
Yeah. Sean sent us one. Thank you, Sean. I believe this is Sean's first super chat as well. I could be wrong, but I do believe so. KD is the best scorer/player on the team. He doesn't need to defer to role players. Neither does Book or Beal. That's ridiculous. That's not the proper use of KD nor any star. It falls on the stars. I don't think they need to defer, but I do think it is important for them to help get the role players involved and make sure that when they are dishing the ball out to them, that they're set up for success.
Yeah, it's not deferring to them if you're hitting guys in the corner for 3. And I think for me, the ball movement has to involve the big 3. Like, even if they're just passing back and forth to each other, drive and kick game, like there needs to be some movement that puts stress on the defense and doesn't let 4 guys sit around conserving energy, watching one guy guard a mid-range pull-up. Like, that's not going to make defenses pay. You can resort to that late in a playoff game when you need a bucket. You don't want to deal with doubles. You don't want to deal with switches, that type of thing. But like so many times down the stretch, there needs to be variety.
It's just easy to guard the Suns right now too. I mean, you got sometimes you look at KD and Book, and it's literally 5 guys looking at him.
Well, and honestly, a star isn't just because they can score. It is how you can set up your teammates as well, and stars make everybody better when things are clicking right. So I think that's more the point, and not that they should be giving up shots. In fact, we said they should be shooting more. It's just it all is interconnected.
And you've seen him do it in Spurs. I mean, KD just had 16 assists in the basketball game recently. Like, he can do that, but the role players have to hit shots and be involved in the game for that to evolve. It just ain't going to magically happen. And tonight it just looked like nobody else came to the party.
Haas sent us one. Thank you, Haas. They said, it's not Vogel's fault. The season is a wash. We aren't even a mid-defensive team. Trade KD. We can get just as good a package. as we gave up for him.
If you trade KD, you're breaking the whole thing down because imagine looking your franchise player book in the eye and saying, yeah, that guy we traded, that superstar to put around you, we're actually going to trade him again and we're going to rebuild. Like,
we got some first round draft picks in 2028 and 2030. Right. Like, I get the thought because you're panicked right now in terms of what's going on, but it's not a realistic way. You're in this through next season, and then you reassess where you're standing. But yeah, there's no quick fix. You're not there's no we're dealing with this guy and everything changes.
Okay, Julius sent us one. Thank you, Julius. They said could use a defender. Point. Sorry, but coach too. Again, we got a really long wish list.
I got a long shopping list.
It's not all going to be able to be accomplished in one season.
You'd be lucky if you get one of those things.
This is starting to look like my list on Amazon of, when you click save for later.
Wish list, yeah.
Yeah, the save, it's in my cart, but I click save for later and it's like 70 things deep now, you know?
Yeah.
When I get the money, sure, I'll do this.
Yeah, it's a part of practicing delayed gratification, though. It's like, do we really need it?
Yeah, this fan base is well aware of delayed gratification. See 55 seasons prior.
All right, Moonish sent us one. Thank you, Moonish. They said, when is it time to call it on this team? They lack leadership, poise, defense, and shooting. More time won't change it. It was a big swing and didn't work. It's fine to rebuild. Trade Book to Brooklyn, KD to Golden State, and Beal to the Heat.
Moonish, you're only supposed to eat one little piece of the OG's giant gummy, not the whole thing.
Bag.
Moonish sent us tweets and Gerald's mentions of each trade. Would you like to hear what Moonish has in return for these trades?
Let's hear it,
do it. Why
Go
not?
for it, man. Go for it.
Actually, you know what it is? It's 12:20 a.m. It's Trade Machine Tuesday. Trade Machine Tuesday.
Go for it.
Devin Booker to the Nets in exchange for Cam Johnson.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Royce O'Neal.
Ooh.
And 3 first-round picks, all of them Phoenixes.
Yeah, no, I like. I'm no. Hold on.
I can reconnect.
Hold on.
All four.
Hold on. I'm playing this game. I accept the deal. I accept the deal. What's next?
Okay.
What's next? I accept the deal.
Go ahead. Unless you put Mikal Bridges back in it, I'm out.
He's coming back in 2026. Don't worry.
Go ahead. What's next?
The Miami Heat received Bradley Beal and Grayson Allen in exchange for Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, 2 first-round picks, their own, one of them top 5 protected, and a second-round pick.
I'm doing it.
So Bradley Beal, Grayson Allen for Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, 2 first-round picks and a second.
Let's do it. What's the next? What we getting for KD?
You had me at Kyle Lowry's big old ass. Let's do this.
What we getting for KD?
Okay, Kevin
Why
Durant.
Kyle Lowry got to take strays now?
Have you seen it?
Go ahead.
I'm all in. Let's go.
Kevin Durant to the Warriors along with Eric Gordon.
EG and KD back to the world. Okay, back
in
to
exchange, Chris Paul.
Okay.
Oh,
Gary Payton II.
Oh, I'm on it. I'm on it.
Can I get Gary Payton the senior in this too? Let's go.
Come on.
Oh no, you can have Jonathan Kuminga.
Oh.
And here's the sweet part.
There's
Moses
more?
Moody.
Whoa. Give me
for Kevin Durant and Eric Gordon, you get those 4 players plus 2 first-round picks.
Oh, hey, I'm doing it. I'm doing all 3. And I love all these deals. They are amazing. We are going to in less than a year we'll be as good as the Pistons.
Okay.
We'll be the new Detroit Pistons.
I got another one. Can I pitch a 4th?
No.
I'm doing it anyways. I don't care what you say, Lindsay.
I tried.
Frank Vogel to Detroit for Monty Williams. Come on down and rebuild that culture, my friend.
Are you kidding me? That contract is garbage.
Let's trade Matt Ishbia for the Pistons owner too. Why not?
I take Monty. I love Monty. Is fine. No, listen. I mean, we being funny here, guys, but no.
Are we?
No, I mean we're not doing
Moonish
guys.
Was funny or serious or not?
Guys,
are you trolling us, Moonish?
No, that had to be comedy. Like, there's no way we're doing.
I don't know if it's comedy, man. To put the trades in there and then also to come in and super chat
That's dedication.
And spend money to make sure we see
It,
Listen,
I appreciate commitment to a good
if you're mad now after those deals, I don't know what
I understand why people would say, like, because let's be honest, if you genuinely are at the point where you feel like the only path forward is to blow it up, you have to trade one of your big 1 or 2 or 3 if you can, and Bradley Beal waives the trade clause. Your big 3, those are your only options. Do I agree with it? No. But what I'm saying is if you feel that is the only path forward out of this spot for the
then you're
Suns,
a lunatic.
you have to include somebody from the big 3.
You're a lunatic. You're not
agree.
trading any of them.
It's January 9th, 2024. Please, man, back the hell up off the ledge. It's January 9th.
You're either going to trade the face of your franchise, who might be the best player in your organization's history, your team currently, or a guy who has a no trade clause. You're not trading any of them.
You get Cam Johnson and Royce O'Neal.
yeah, but
Yo, by the way, Kevin Durant's averaging 36 and 6. Is he top 5? He's top 5 in scoring in the whole league, right?
Probably.
yeah, I think you can get a few seconds for him. I love that.
Lord help us.
I could imagine that call to Miami. Hey, you didn't think this guy fit Heat culture, but can we interest you in him now and Grayson out?
I mean, for less though. Plus,
For-
the
yeah.
Warriors would get the 2 NBA
All right, they-
point percentage.
All right, next up we have a super chat from Sean. Sean, thank you so much. Said, could we use a PJ Tucker or Andre Drummond? Also, just crazy thinking maybe Beal coming off the bench.
Tucker or Drummond helps on the
yeah.
margins. It doesn't drastically change anything. Beal coming off the bench, no. No.
Look,
That's a $200 million role play.
I don't think you but in a world, if you got a more defensive minded guy that could hit threes, could I see them experimenting with Grayson sometimes coming off the bench? Yes.
Yeah, Grayson.
Because
Grayson,
because that would help your defense with that group. But who right now? There's nobody. There's a reason you're going with this lineup because it's your best option right now.
And the whole point guard thing, like everyone keeps saying point guard. If you get a quality NBA point guard who's a starter, so who you got? What are you doing with Brad Beal and Devin Booker? Somebody got to go to the bench. So you're not getting a starter who's better than Brad Beal or Devin Booker. That's one. And if he's a backup, I mean, how much is he really improving the basketball team? So I'm kind of with Gerald. I actually don't know if bringing a point guard in. I think what you got is what you got, and we just got to get better at the things we're doing currently. That's it. We just got to get better at what we're doing fundamentally as a group.
3-and-D. I mean, it's not easy with what you have, but can you find a 3-and-D kind of guy that can live up to what you hoped a KBD could
3-and-D
be?
point guard?
No, I'm just a wing
3-and-D
guy
wing.
that, you know,
Gotcha.
like that. That's the kind of on the margin move you'd have to try to figure out that I think could have an impact.
Mhm.
You know?
Okay, the Haunted Kiwi sent us one. They said, anyone who can't see this team has failed is crazy.
They failed to this point.
They have.
Luckily, we are not even
January
halfway
9th.
through the season.
Yep.
We got some time to turn it around.
I do like that name though.
I do
Haunted
too.
Kiwi School.
Benjamin sent us one. Thank you, Benjamin. They said, leash on Vogel should be short because time is short. You mentioned 5 years. Did that? I wasn't sure how long his
5
contract's
years.
5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
That's a long time.
Yep.
The Anonymous Buddha sent us another one. Thank you, the Anonymous Buddha. They said, I really did not want to keep you guys with another super chat, but trade KD? Yes, you can easily trade him. You know who will lap him up? OKC. I am sick of this fan base wanting to trade KD, disrespecting him all the time.
Thank you.
Hold on, I'm fucking confused.
It
Thank
was
It was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
quoting
Yeah.
what's some of the other kind of
Sorry.
people.
Here, I'll try this again. Hold on. The Anonymous Buddha said, I really didn't want to keep you guys up with another super chat, but trade KD?
Oh, question mark.
Yes, you can easily trade him. You know who will lap him up? OKC. But I'm sick of this fan base wanting to trade KD, disrespecting him all the time. I hope the second one I did you more justice.
Great
in your
reading.
voice.
No
Fantastic.
notes on the second one,
I
Lindsay.
hope that's what it was. So sorry about that one,
Fantastic.
Anonymous Buddha. But thank you for your super chat.
Yes.
I agree. Like I said, I understand why people are throwing it out there to an extent.
No,
To an extent.
I don't.
But I fully disagree with it. 100%. Okay. Another one from Shioban. Thank you so much. Said, it's not coaching. Book has to be set up to be him.
I don't know what that means.
No,
Like,
they're
as far
saying in
as
order
Book-
for Book to play good, he's got to be set up. He can't create his own stuff.
Well, no, I don't think it's necessarily that he can't create his own stuff. I think it's being set up as in, like, let him play the two. Don't ask him to play 1 and 2 interchangeably, depending on the play.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm reading it.
that's
as,
how I was reading
Yeah, I'm
it.
reading it as Book at the 2 has to be set up. Like people say, Klay Thompson's a 2, but Klay has to be in his spots to shoot. He's not a creator. He doesn't. I don't know if I agree with that, but I agree that he needs to be.
I think they're saying that he needs to be set up to be successful. And it's in the sense of like, put him in a position to be successful, AKA let him thrive as the greatest shooting guard in the league right now that he is.
Like set him up for success. not
Yes,
set
that's
him
how
up
I'm
on the court.
reading him,
No,
not setting him up on the court.
I get it. And I think to a certain extent, like we need to see Book off the ball more. I think point Book works. It worked in the playoffs against the eventual champions last year. I think right now doing it full time, he's struggled to find that balance. I think the whole point of having Beal was to defer some of that to him, and we haven't seen it much. And the couple of times that Beal's handled the ball, he's had some weird turnovers where he just like loses the ball. So that's still a work in progress. I think that'll get better, hopefully. But yeah, I think it's optimizing Devin Booker, playing him off the ball, and then for stretches, playing him on the ball and showing the defense a different look. I think this current look with him at the point guard the whole time is harder.
All right. Yep. So Lindsay, you were right. That's what
yeah,
okay.
yeah. Because I don't think Shioban would ever say that Book had to be set up in that way. Just
Okay.
based on the comments that we've seen from them over the
Yeah,
last
I don't
year
know
or
him
so.
well, so appreciate you clarifying that.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. It's more like give him the tools, put him in the right position to be successful,
To be himself.
to be who he is, basically.
You know the Matthew McConaughey meme, time is a flat circle? I feel like that. I feel like we've gone around and around, and I'm right back to where it was. I have no clue how you can fix some of these things outside of them waking the hell up. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's got to be internal. It's not the saviors, the solution's not going to come from outside.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that'll be it for tonight. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you. Honestly, like, shout out to all of you guys. On Monday night, we went an hour and a half, and there's still a boatload of you here watching with us. Like,
Yes, thank
y'all
you.
are real ones. Ride or die. We appreciate your support. We appreciate the community that you guys have helped us create here. And having these conversations, win or lose, because it's easier if we lose when we have all of you guys, and it's more fun if we win, having all of you guys with us as well. So thanks for hanging out with us. Any final thoughts, you guys? Nope. Cool. Thanks. All right. We will not have a show for you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is an off day for us. Today, Tuesday, whatever day.
In 15
but we will be
hours.
back on Wednesday. Is Wednesday? No, Thursday is our next game, right?
Thursday's next game.
So
right?
Wednesday, 3 p.m. That's the next time we'll see you.
Yep.
3, my lord, 3. Come hang out with us Wednesday.
Pick number 3, my lord.
Until we see you guys on Wednesday, be sure to give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. You can follow Flex at Flex from Jersey. And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo. Take us home.
Monty, come back. You can blame it all on Matt. We were wrong, and we just can't live without you.
Please cut it.
Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.